Hi, my name is Amy Stephens and welcome to the Fertile Minds channel. I am the counseling manager for Melbourne IVF in Victoria. Today we're going to talk about the 2-week wait, as we call it. The 2-week wait is the time between your IUI, your embryo transfer, until that ever-present blood test to see if you have a pregnancy. That's the time frame we're going to talk about today. However, the tips I'm going to talk about can be used throughout your IVF journey. But that 2 weeks can be really, really rough. So let's talk about why it is so rough. One of it is the amount of energy it has taken to get to that 2 weeks. You know, you had your 2 weeks of medicine, you had your 5 days in the lab, and then you had you put a lot of money, effort, needles to get to this 2 weeks. And now you've got to sit it out and let your body do what it needs to do, along with that, hoping that embryo knows what to do. So during those 2 weeks, though, it can be very, very tempting to Dr. Google, I feel this, I feel that, those sort of things. Try to avoid that if you can. If you have concerns about how you're feeling, both mentally or physically, you need to call the clinic. You need to call your nurse and you need to call your fertility specialist and say, this is what's happening, is this normal? Next, it's important that you find an activity each day. And I really recommend if you can find something new that's kind of exciting, or something that you can provide closure. And now it sounds really simple, but it can provide your mind with a little bit of, okay, I completed that. Whether that be a puzzle, whether that be cleaning out your closet and reorganizing it all, something that you can complete, like a dinner party. You can do Zelda in 10 days, to get little Zelda to the place. That would be great. Something that you can complete is really good. And that, again, because this is not going to be complete until for 10 days. So find yourself those little tasks. Also, try to stay on your real schedule. You don't need to lay in bed. You don't need to miss work. You don't need to do those things. But again, try to keep the IVF thinking, conversation, pressure, all that stuff at about 15 to 20 minutes per day, where you can let it go, and then say, okay, I've done it. Now I need to put it off to the side. I've done what I can. And recognize that you've done all the great work up to this point and you've done everything you can. You took your medicine on the right time. You have the best specialist. You've done everything you can to get to a positive outcome. Now, the day of your blood test, you're going to go take bloods, do those things. Plan for those results. Plan for that. You don't want to be at work when you get that phone call. Perhaps take the day off. If you want to be with your mom or your sister or your partner at that time, then spend the day together to get that news. I do recommend that you make a plan for that evening, whether it be let's go out to dinner, because if you got sad news or negative news, then that's going to be a time you're going to want to be together, and you might want to be not cooking dinner and doing those things. If it's great news, you may want to be out to celebrate. All right. So plan to be together with someone at that time if you can. If not, then make a plan for yourself so you're not doing those things that you don't want to do as drudgery at that time. But plan for that phone call. If you don't want to be at work when you get it, those sort of things. Make sure that you have a plan for that. And finally, prepare yourself that it may be negative, and what am I going to do then? The day you get that phone call that says you're negative might be your day one, and it starts that whole cycle over. So think about if that's what you want to do. Do you want to go ahead and say, yep, let's do it again? Or do you need to say, I need to take a break? So you can think of a little ahead of that, because again, as you know, it can take many cycles to get to a positive end result. So it's not, getting a pregnancy on the first round is fairly unusual. So we want to make sure that you have a thought of how you want to proceed after that. And again, recognize that you can do this and that it can be really, really rugged. Take care of yourself and recognize that as you move through this, you are still in charge. That's going to be the biggest message you're going to get from this 2 weeks. How do I stay in control? because a lot of those first few weeks were not in your control. And so recognize that you have control over decision making, how you want to proceed, how much money you want to put into this, and who you tell, how you tell. So those are your control points. So take those and stay in control as a way of managing the mental health and the physical health of all of this. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for subscribing to the Fertile Minds channel. Best wishes.